Hi everyone, my name is Simon Mishevich from Optimize Accountants, and in this video I want to talk about limited liability companies. This is where you have a company in the United States but you now live abroad. This is relevant if you're an American or indeed you are a foreigner that chooses to use an LLC in the United States. So before we get into the details, if you need any UK or US tax calculators, feel free to visit our website. You can use the QR code and the link will be in the video description box below. So what is an LLC? And the description is, in the United States, a limited liability company, LLC, is a business structure that combines elements of both corporations and partnerships. It offers personal liability protection of a corporation while maintaining the tax flexibility and simpler management structure of a partnership. This makes it it makes it an appealing option for small business owners and entrepreneurs who want to protect their personal assets without the complexities and formalities that corporations often require. By the way, if you're going through this video and think, well, actually I could do with some tax planning, think about using an LLC as a foreigner, or an American, got a bunch of these LLCs, what do I need to do? Get some tax planning. There's the QR code, link in the description box as well. Okay, so let's think about the LLC. Why use one? Asset protection was mentioned in that. So if someone is going to sue you, the liability stays with the company. So they cannot go for you unless, please note, unless you've signed a personal guarantee to any contracts that you have entered. Tax flexibility, it talks about tax flexibility. You can, in the United States, you can say, I actually want the LLC to be taxed on my own income on my 1040 tax return. However, there is another option of being taxed at a corporate level, requiring a 1120 tax return, and then paying the flat rate of 21% for corporates, plus whatever the state tax is going to be as well. Gives you flexibility, but please note, I'm going to counter that in a little while. Again, there's that QR code to get some international tax advice. Forms to be aware of. First of all, 1040 or 1120. If you are going to file the LLC and your personal name, then you would file a 1040. But if you go down the corporate level, you would sign a 1120 form instead. So be very careful when it comes to your submission of your tax return. Here you have the 15th of April, or from a corporate level, it's the 15th of the 4th month ending your year end. So it could be very different. If the year end is the 31st of December, then clearly it's going to be the same thing, 15th of April. But if your year end is January, then your year end is not going to be the same year end as the 1040 tax return. So you need to be very careful. And there are two forms that you need to be aware of. Most people that file 1040 tax returns may be aware of the 4868 when you need an extension for that tax return. However, if you're going to file from a corporate perspective on your 1120, then the extension form is not the 4868, it is actually the 7004 form instead. What are the issues now for UK tax residents? And by the way, I'm not going to just talk about Americans owning LLCs or Brits owning LLCs. Foreigners from any country could have this. And you need to understand from your country perspective how it could affect you having an American limited liability company. So LLC issues, let's go through it. In the United Kingdom, the LLC is taxed as though it's an individual. So that means that LLC will be taxed on your self-assessment and potentially on your self-employment, which basically means that you're in danger now of paying the social security benefits in the US, because it's going to be part of that, or it's going to be a corporate level, so that's fine. But in the UK, you would have income tax here, which means you could have double taxation if you're going on corporate level in America, because you don't get a tax credit for personal taxes. Or if you keep the LLC as taxed in your own name for American tax purposes, but you then file in the UK, there is a danger that you'll have national insurance contributions and social security benefit charges as well, which means double taxation. And you have to be really careful because there are certain forms that alleviate that problem. But if you're not aware of what those forms are, you could be double taxed. It could be subject to UK income tax. So, you know, in terms of saying, well, it's a corporate, if you are using your LLC as a corporate, which means as an entity on its own right for US tax purposes, it isn't going to be so for UK tax purposes. It will be charged on you, which means you can have this income tax liability. And furthermore, actually, this is even more interesting. If you have an LLC, but you are predominantly working in the United Kingdom, the amount of income, and that doesn't matter if you say, well, actually, I'm going to have this LLC, it's in America, Delaware, right? Good, kind of tax levels over there. I'm going to have it in Delaware, there's a low tax, or I'm going to have it as a corporate tax entity instead. That's irrespective, because if you are predominantly the revenue generator, or your assets are generating the revenue, it's in the United Kingdom, you've created permanent residency, which basically you've got establishment in the United Kingdom, which therefore means you are going to be subject to UK income tax purposes. So wherever the activity is, it doesn't matter where the company is, that is where you are going to be paying the tax first. Please be careful with this because I see a lot of advice being given to say, hey, set up an LLC because it will mitigate you from your tax liabilities in the United Kingdom. Not so fast. That doesn't work. Last point here is could be subject to UK national insurance. I already said about double taxation on self-employment taxes in the US. It could also be affected in the UK as well. So you do double whammy of taxation.